Hey there, Shawna Karrasch here with another Ask Shawna answer. And this one comes from Zoe, and Zoe says, so I would usually leave my foal at home with her sire and take the dam out for a ride in the neighborhood. There's only one huge problem. She's a big horse who, the young one, I think, the baby. She's a big horse who will disturb the whole entire neighborhood. She will neigh back to the others, and I would really love to show her this summer. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's the mom. This summer. She will neigh back to the others, and I would really love to show her this summer. But our stallion passed this September, so I can't leave the yard without our foal trying to climb through the barbs. We don't have a barn nor separate pastures, though we're about to start weaning the foal from her dam. She's 6 months now. No one will help me with the animals because, well, they just don't really care. I've trained my hunter jumper for this long and will have to train my foal too alone. I don't have the money for a clicker system, but thought seeing you and on your videos on YouTube that you could help me with this problem and maybe reach a goal in life, or maybe even the biggest dream, to become an Olympic jumper. Oh, yes, for sure, Zoe. There's things you can do. I do think, okay, so what we need to do, and it sounds like the mom's having the issue, but maybe the baby's having the issue too, because the baby will climb through the barbs. So the baby kind of needs a little work too, I'm thinking. So it sounds like they both have separation anxiety, is what I'm thinking. And that is completely normal for a mom and baby, especially a baby who hasn't been weaned yet, because her life support just left. You know what I mean? Her life source, her tie to the world has just left. So the baby's thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this? And the mom's probably thinking the same thing, thinking, I left my little baby there who needs me to survive. So those maternal instincts and those need for each other are very, very, very strong. So what I would do is I would, until they are successfully weaned and independent, you know, that the baby is eating on its own, I wouldn't even separate them again for a little bit, because I think you're just going to exacerbate the problem. And I know you need to work her and stuff, and you know, it's kind of hard because you are in a tough situation where nobody can really help you. But I think to continue taking her away from the baby and the baby away from her, essentially, in that longer term, they're both thinking it's going against everything naturally that's in them, that their hormones are saying, I need you and you need me, and oh my gosh, we're both going to die. I mean, I really do think. So I go back and say, okay, don't separate them until she is weaned. But you still have this problem of the separation issue, and it's not going to be any better after they're weaned, probably. I mean, I think it's going to be stronger when you have the hormones going and the baby's, you know, life source just left. As far as she doesn't know she's coming back, it's a baby. So what I would start doing is I would start separating them in just little tiny bits at first. So I might, and what you want to do, you want to teach them when the other goes away, good things happen. So what I would start doing, and they're both going to need work on this side. So at first maybe, so you want to have the baby being where you can feed the baby and the baby is, you know, eating food from you. So you can use positive reinforcement there, because what you're taking away when you take away mom, you are taking away her positive reinforcement, her food source. So you want to have it where they're both eating solid food. So what I might do, let's just kind of give an idea of some things that might help you a little bit, is, okay, so let's say that we have, the first thing I might do is take them 10 feet from each other. So maybe now you have them weaned, so they live in different pastures, but they can still see each other. So I might just take them, you know, and figure out where that threshold is. So if I take them 10 feet away, no big deal, nobody cares, they're not even looking, they don't notice. But when I take them 20 feet away, it's a different story. So if they're good at 10 feet away, but not so good at 20 feet away, I try and figure out where is that threshold where it changes. Maybe at 18 feet they're still good, but 19 feet starts to change. I would start working at where I took the baby, let's say, as an example. You can do either way, but you took one away from the other at 18 feet away. A place where it is still good. You're not going to shoot them over threshold where they're screaming and whinnying and have lost their head. They're not thinking anymore, but the place where they can still kind of go, I can still focus. You know, so I would get them both bridge conditioned and target trained. So they both do the clicker. So you can watch on there, there's a video about getting started. Get them so they're good about the clicker. And then make yourself, and you can find that at any pet store, and then make yourself some sort of target out of something light that you can carry with you anywhere and can be consistent from place to place and will be a little bit durable, but you can make it out of anything. So make yourself a target. And then teach them those things first before you even try and separate them. So they might be 10 feet apart, you know, close enough that they're all good. So these things are very strong. And the relationship with the target is very strong because you want them to see the target and go, I love the target. You know, and so as we start to build that relationship, you're going to be building a relationship independently with each of them, utilizing positive reinforcement. You're putting something in it that they value and something that they want and something they like. So then, okay, so now we got these components strong, and then you say, okay, 18 feet, we're still good, 19 feet, we're not so good. I'd work at 18 feet, saying, hey, can you come over here? Can you target, target, target? Good. And I would have a bucket, and I'd dump the food, you know, after a few approximations, good thing, dump the food bucket, food in a bucket over there at 18 feet away. So the food happens as far away from mom or baby as possible. So they start learning, hey, when I go away, I get to get fed and good things happen. I get this training. Okay, and you can do it on both sides. You can even, as you're leaving mom, let's say with the baby, you can even feed mom and say, there's your food, you just eat. Meanwhile, baby, come over here, let's do our thing, and then feed over there. And then pretty soon, start building that distance further and further apart. Pretty soon, and teach them things. Teach them to lift their legs, touch the target, do a spin, you know, just simple stuff, simple, silly stuff. It doesn't really matter to put a blanket on, to go to a stationary target, to go retrieve something. You know, these are all things that you can teach that'll be very good. And for the baby, I would think of things that are going to be constructive things for down the road. So I would think of things like picking up their feet or being able to touch them all over with something. Start really small and little. I have lots of videos about that out there on YouTube. Small and little and tiny, but get it so eventually, you know, you could put a blanket on, but start little and build up to those things. I have things about foals and teaching foals online. So look up, go onto my website and search babies, foals, getting started, and you'll find some ideas for exercises you can do for babies. But so teach them some practical things so that, you know, down the road when you do have to soak a bucket or put a blanket on or dress a wound or clip a wound or, you know, all those things are no big deal. So there's a billion things you can teach them. But but then start building up further and further apart. Well, pretty soon, until eventually maybe you go around the corner, you know, so eventually as they're as far as they could possibly be and still see each other, then maybe you go just to the outside of the barn or the outside of where they can't see each other, and then make it very short and sweet, give them lots of reinforcement, and then put them back together. Now, so what you're going to start doing, pretty soon they're going to start realizing when the other one leaves, and you have to work both sides of this coin, because then mom can just be screaming for baby because mom's saying, I don't want to stand here and be bored, I'm done eating. And then, so you need to kind of work on both of them with this, so they become a little bit more independent. And then pretty soon they're going to look forward to the times when the other one leaves, and then start fading out the feeding the other one while you're working the one, but they'll start to get better about that. And pretty soon they're going to look forward to being apart from each other because they're going to realize good things happen when we go away, and we always get to go back together. Keep in mind that getting them back together is very, very strong reinforcement. So if they start whinnying and screaming and we put them back together or feed them at that point in time, we're actually reinforcing that behavior. So as they're whinnying, 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 and then they get back together during the whinnying, they may think in their minds that whinnying got me back with you. So we can unintentionally be reinforcing that behavior. So realize that getting together is a really strong behavior. So if you want to make sure that they're nice and calm when you put them back together. Caveat though, safety is first. And if you've pushed it and they're too far and they're both losing their head and running around and not being safe, you need to put them back together and think, okay, I went too fast too soon. I need to go slower and keep them under threshold where I don't get them where they're just all over the top and nervous. So I hope that helps you out. There's a whole lot of things you can do there. And again, look up separation anxiety and buddy sour, barn sour, those things. I think as you look them up on YouTube and in my blog at shawnakarrasch.com, you'll get more information and some ideas about working on some of the separation anxiety. If you can get anybody to help you at all, I mean, just even on the ground. Let's say I'm not even leaving all that far, but can you stand over here while I go around the corner or do it for a second? That will also help you a little bit. Or maybe, you know, one goes in the trailer for a minute as you start to get them further and further apart. Maybe the trailer's a place where they learn to go in there and do something fun, and then they get to be back together. Anyway, So there's a lot you could do. So kind of look that up, Zoe. And good for you having big dreams. I've worked with Olympic jumpers, and that is a big dream, and it's an awesome dream. And you can get there when you build a really good, solid relationship with a horse and teach your horse to really like the whole process, which you can do. So good for you. And thank you for letting me be a part of your little journey, big journey. Anyway, so if you have more questions, Zoe, please give me a progress report. Let me know how things are going. Or if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me at AskShawna.com or ShawnaKarrasch.com. And until next time, enjoy getting your horse on target. Bye.